Hello everyone and thank you for joining me. Today I will attempt to do some drawing with something that hopefully will be something a little bit more fun than usually. I found these pens called compact ballpoint pen press type made in China at the MUJI store. I never really used this before, but they look small and cute, and when I say small I do mean small. Unfortunately, the way they put the stickers, I don't really like it because you can't really open them. However, based on the pens, they seem that whatever color you have, that's the color of the ink coming out of them. So I do have a red, a blue, a black, an orange, and I have these versions as well, which they're kind of similar. They're called compact pen in this case. The only difference is with this one you can actually post it and you will have a longer pen. I assume they're all using the same cartridge, or I don't even know what to call it, insert I guess, refiller. They are 05/24/7, I assume that's the date. I don't know how to read that. Or maybe 0.5 is the actual size of the nib, and then 2407 may be the date it was made. I'm not sure. Unfortunately, I cannot open the other ones until I remove the stickers to confirm that they're the same. Something that I'll do before doing the drawing. And yeah, I'm actually quite curious about these little things. My kids love them. I don't know if they're just ballpoint or gel pen or actual rollerballs. We're about to find out. Let me try and do some writing sample with them, and then I will come back and do a drawing. See you soon. Okay, before I was doing the writing sample, I actually removed the sticker from the orange tiny pen just so I can actually unscrew it and see what type of insert or refill it has. And it seems to be the same type and style as you have on the one with the cap. Writing wise, for my hand size, they feel a little bit chunky, but not in the uncomfortable way. However, I do wish at least the clickety-clack one would have actually a little bit more length to it. But I guess that will go into removing the cute factor. I do see them as perfect fitting for people with smaller hands or kids. Specifically kids. Like I mentioned, my kids do love these pens. What else? Writing wise, they write actually pretty good. They do feel a lot more like a rollerball. As long as you have decent pressure on the page, they write without any issues. Even when I was doing the flourishing, it seemed to work very well. One thing that I do find it odd is when I was trying to actually do the drawing, I tried different type of paper just to see how it reacts and how I can use it. And I don't know, it doesn't really feel like a rollerball sometimes. It feels like it stands somewhere between a, a gel pen and a rollerball. So the thing with the rollerballs, from my experience, you usually don't need a lot of pressure to actually leave a line on the page. To be honest, with a very, very light hand on any of the pages or type of paper that I'm using, I always leave nice marks. And some of them, especially on the cotton paper that I usually use, with a very light hand, I can actually leave different grades of lines, so I can easily build up, or if I need dark, I can actually just put it down and it will be as dark as it can get. With these ones, not so much. When I'm trying to get to the sweet spot in between a full-on line and a very gentle line to the point you get nothing out of it, there's nothing. It's either there's nothing or it's full contact, almost like a gel pen, or at least how gel pens feel in my experience. I find it a little bit frustrating. As such, in the end, for my drawing, I decided to actually go with the unbranded sketchbook that I have, the one that has the cream, kind of a smooth paper in it. And it kind of worked out. It had a very interesting effect as I was trying to do the lines on it. I don't even know how to describe it. It wasn't like a sharp line, but it also wasn't like a jaggedy line, but it had like a pastel, oil pastel kind of effect on the paper. While it wasn't a very sharp line, it definitely left basically like an oily feeling around the edges. Hard to describe it. Maybe you'll be able to get a feeling of what I'm trying to say in the close-up that I do at the end of the time-lapse. I did like that though. I did find it annoying though at the same time, because I was trying to build the values and I was trying to get all the lines in between to what I needed, and I had to go very slow to the point where I actually lost patience. And towards the end, well, actually no, towards the middle of the drawing, I started to put more pressure and be a little bit more rough with my lines, not be as attentive as I was at the beginning when I started to do the drawing, to the point where I actually didn't like how the drawing was turning. There was there was a very long period of time from the moment that I started to basically lose patience to draw the lines to the moment I finished it, where I actually did not like the drawing. And I didn't feel like going to the cotton paper, because that was actually even more challenging for this pen. There was no sweet spot, and with this one I was kind of getting there, but not really. But still, he had something that kind of allowed me to do some build up. So I stuck with it. It took me about 2 hours and a bit to actually finish the drawing. And turned out okay in the end. I'm not saying it's one of my best drawings, but I'm actually kind of pleasantly surprised. I don't know if I can find a better paper that might work with this type of, I would call them rollerballs, I guess. They're definitely not ballpoints. Ballpoints allows you for way much more layering effect, and you have way much more control. In terms of basically drawing styles, I found out that ballpoints offers you the most ways on how you can layer, going from very light touch to very dark. It almost feels like a pencil in a way, like an HB pencil sometimes. Rollerballs, they do offer you more freeway on how you draw, and it is much easier and gentler, and you don't have to press it that hard in order to leave a line. Writing, no problem, I think they're okay as long as the size fits you. Speaking of the size, if you're planning to actually go for the other version with the cap, they do have a fault that I discovered unfortunately after I did the video. At the seam where I guess the two pieces of plastic, when they were melted, were connected, it actually has a small crack on the back, and most probably because the plastic gets a little bit more brittle, and as you try and push it over that section, eventually it creates a stress point and breaks in there. The interesting part though, at the same size, with the same format, whoever makes these pens also make something like a highlighter, and the caps on those ones are a little bit more translucent, and as such the plastic is way much softer. And to my surprise, they fit actually very well on these pens. So basically you can interchange the caps from the highlighters onto these pens, and surprisingly it works very well. It's actually a little bit of a tighter fit, and I'm actually playing with it right now. So that's the sound of using the cap from the highlighter on the pen, and you definitely fight a little bit more to remove it. And now is the sound of the normal cap on the pen. It's a little bit smoother to put in, but also it is cracked, so that probably will help to make it a little bit smoother. Anyway, interesting pens. I like them. If I have the choice, like I said, I'll probably go with the one with the cap, because you post it and you make it a little bit longer, and for my hand size, much easier to use and more pleasant. As for the drawing, going back to it, I tried to use as many colors as possible. I did in my head originally I had the idea of using only the red and the blue and somehow combine them with each other, and I end up with this creature that has basically kind of a blue face with maybe reddish hairy hair around the body parts. I try to also use the orange and the black that I have, especially around the eye area. I made a mess out of it at one point in time that I really hated it. So I end up using the black pen to try and cover the screw-ups that I've done in there, and then I also try to kind of blend in that black with the rest of the facial features. And at one point I realized that you can't layer the colors. So basically on the parts where I already had the red and blue, when I was trying to do the black seemed to only cling onto the white or the bare paper, but on the parts where I've already used this ink or whatever you want to call it, it wouldn't cling on. You can actually see it on the eye the best. I actually came up with a lot of layers to try and darken that orange eye behind it, and I kind of succeeded, but when you look very close to it, you can still see the orange coming through it, something that you'll probably be able to see when I actually do the close-up at the end of the video. In the end, interesting pens. I did manage to get a very interesting drawing, and I like the red and blue combination. I kind of like the black eye with the orange center, even though you can still see the orange coming through the black eye a little bit. I couldn't fully cover it for whatever reasons. They don't stack up on top of each other, which is very odd, probably because of the oil in them. I don't know. But it does allow you to do some very interesting transitions between the colors, and I mean, in somebody's hands that it's much more basically used to using this type of inks and pens, could probably do some better justice to how you can combine them. I liked it. It was a very interesting basically experimentation. I'm not sure if I'm gonna wanna do another drawing with these, only because they don't offer the flexibility of adding slow transition parts and building up the colors. Anyway, if you're interested to use them only for writing, I think you can use them without a problem, especially if your hands are on the smaller size. But if you don't, at least you do have the other version that you can make it longer by posting the cap on top of it. Fun pens, I enjoyed them. Not sure I'm gonna use them for drawing again, but I have no problem recommending them, at least to try them on, especially considering they're pretty cheap and cheerful, I guess. Anyway, I'll stop my rambling here. Thanks for joining me, and I hope I'll see you next time. Until then, have a nice day and a wonderful night or day, whatever you are. Take care. Bye.